The University of Calabar, Cross River State, has suspended the Dean Faculty of Law, Sirin Ndufor, over allegations of sexual harassment. Female students of the law faculty recently held a peaceful rally against Mr. Ndufor, a professor who they accused of harassing them. Mr. Ndufor denied the allegation and said the protest was sponsored by lecturers in the faculty who did not like his style of leadership. The university, however, relieved Mr. or Professor Ndufor on yesterday, Thursday, of his position as the Dean of Law Faculty and also suspended him from the school via a letter from the University Registrar Gabriel Egbe. The statement said the University Vice Chancellor, Florence Obi, was dissatisfied with Mr. Ndufor's response to a query on the sexual harassment allegation, and that the matter has been referred to a panel that is saddled with the responsibility of investigating the allegations against him. But this brings up again the sad issue of sexual harassment in our tertiary institution that has been an age-long problem. But the big question on the big story for today is, can it ever go away? And what measures should be put in place to deal with it? Well, this and more as it concerns the issue of what is happening in most tertiary institutions is taking a big stage on the big story today. And we're talking about exploitation of students by university lecturers. And that's what we're having as a major discourse today. We're talking about exploitation of a student by university lecturers, and we'll be centered more on the issue of sexual harassment and other harassment as it concerns Nigerian students. Well, anyway, to really help us talk about this is no other but an administrator, and we're talking of no other person but Honorable Useva Austin. Good morning, welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, thank you.
Well, anyways, it seemed to have, here we go again, and who will forget the BBC report in 2020 with Kiki Modi, who brought the ills to the international scene. I was talking about that African Eye report. And now again, we're deep into it again. And we're now getting reports of sexual harassment. And even if we take ourselves back to that very conduct of no other but the World Bank survey that was done some couple of years back, it said about 70% of female graduates from Nigerian tertiary institutions have been either sexually harassed in school, with the main perpetrators being lecturers. And only God knows the number now. But my question is, why would this never go away? Because it's beginning to seem just like that. We saw this before now. I was in the university. All of this played out. It was there. And who will believe some decades after, we're still having cases like this, even after the Senate had passed a law in 2020, but yet these things persist. Why do we still, or why are we still getting reports, unfortunate reports about this?
Thank you for having me, Michael, and good morning to you too.
Yes, good morning to you.
Wherever you have human interaction between male and female, there is always this sexual attraction.
Okay.
So you cannot really take it from it, and sexual harassment, as it seems to be, it's not just a Nigerian thing, it's a global phenomenon.
Okay.
And where, even in the workplace, not only in the universities or tertiary institutions, as so to say. So there's always, once there's human interaction, there's attraction.
Okay.
But I would say, particularly in our tertiary institutions, one of the major causes of sexual harassment had to be lost, inferiority complex, the way our women, indecent dressing.
Okay.
Some of them even go half naked. So most of these are the causes of sexual harassment.
Okay.
One must also be disciplined.
So indiscipline on the part of the lecturers.
Yes. When you talk about sexual harassment, the one that is harassing seems to be the most powerful.
Yeah.
And it has something that the other one need. Something of value.
Okay.
We call it exchange for grades.
Okay.
So when you have something of value and the weaker person, which to say we can attribute it to the girl child,
Yeah.
you find out that the girl child will want to have a way, or the lecturer will want to have his way. So it's a two-way thing itself. One, our girl child, how are they prepared for examinations?
Okay.
Are they adequately prepared for examinations? Because if you are adequately prepared and you are confident of self, most cases, most people go to the notice board to check for their results.
But we've heard stories where they are prepared, but yet these lecturers still use that power, like you say, they have over the students to fail them and give flimsy excuses. And most times you might even call to recall for your papers to be marked again by the senate of the school. And sometimes you get some unpleasant replies from this school. So should we say that's a very direct reason? Or do you, like you initially said, when one has power over the other, it's most likely you want to flex your power and get those unnecessary sexual gains from the students?
One of the issues you find out that sexual harassment has attracted researchers, media people.
Yes.
And I think we don't speak enough concerning it. Because most cases, the victims, so to say, the girls, cannot speak adequately for themselves.
Okay.
So we need to lend a voice to this antisocial abnormal that is happening in our society today.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah. Okay, taking from what you said,
yeah,
you mentioned indiscipline as a cause of sexual harassment, indiscipline on the part of who holds the power, which is the lecturer in this case. You mentioned lost. Okay, so let's tie lost to indiscipline.
Yeah.
Okay, so you also went ahead and mentioned indecent dressing by the female students. Yes. I will agree with you to a point in the sense that, I'm coming to my question now, but I will agree to you to a point in the sense that, yes, we do have students, female students who dress indecently. But in this case, we've also seen students who are morally upright and yet have been told they cannot pass without coming to do what is necessary, without those advances. And we've also seen cases where if a student takes up this matter in a situation where she's able to provide evidence that she's being sexually harassed to back up her case, and it moves to the senate of the school, of course, the senate will do what is right, which is they will let go of that lecturer per se. But that student ends up not graduating well, if at all that student graduates. If that student does not drop out, due to the fact that friends or other colleagues of such a lecturer frustrates that child's education. What's your take to that as well?
First and foremost, when we talk about these issues, we have to be very sure of our facts. Because, like you said, that most of the victims don't end up graduating because of the colleagues fighting for their... You must take into consideration that once you are confident of self, you are adequately prepared for your exam, and you push your case, and you make it open. First, the public is aware. The school authorities are aware. There is a sense of protection. You find out that injustice thrives when we as a people do nothing about the wrongs that are happening in our society. So we have laws. There are laws in our country today. So you find out that At each time with something like this happen, and the Senate treats cases like this, and the student, so to say, is now victimized because he or she brought up a matter to the open. Society too has a lot of role to play. Most cases, that's why you see that this is tried, because most cases the victims don't want to come out or want to cry
because sometimes you cry. When you cry, your cry will bring further cry, and that's what she's saying. So it's even unsafe. Students these days feel it's unsafe to cry, because if you cry, it'll make you cry more. But anyway, I do understand what you mean, because if these students have not cried out in the University of Calabar, we'll never have this story to talk about, and also the suspension of the professor. But anyway, I want to also bring up something you said initially, and you talked about our law. Like I said, in July of 2020, the Senate passed that very bill, and we still know is a sexual harassment in tertiary institution bill. And funny enough, it was even sponsored by our very own Senator Ovio Magige and 106 other senators.
Supported it.
Yeah, supported it. And funny enough, that has 25 clauses, and all of them seek to promote and protect ethical standard in our universities. But the question is, why have that not helped? Because if it has been there and it has been really followed, we'll not get issues like this. So is it that the law is not powerful enough to deal with these issues? Or do you feel implementing it has always been the issue? Because even if you look at some universities, they seem not to even have adequate sexual harassment policies in their institution to help highlight this and take it to the main agencies of government to investigate. So where do we have this disconnect? Is it that the law doesn't have the power to bite?
From a question that she asked, from a question that she was bringing up, that when the issues like this are raised and it even gets to the Senate, and the victim still remains somebody that is being penalized or punished because colleagues of the so-called lecturers want to victimize their... So a lot of people are not talking because they feel because of that fear. Then coming to what you are saying, it seems to thrive in the sense that, you see, there's interaction between lecturers and students. Most of these lecturers, mind you, they see some of these students as wives, and they end up even marrying students. And this quest for, I want to give something or take something in return is always there. Then coming to our laws, let us start from the universities, the institution itself. How do we fight against indecent dressing, male or female? We have to first and foremost set out rules. If you dress provocatively, you cannot go to attend our classes. Or
so
you don't enter.
Is the provocative dressing that is pushing the trend? Is that a case that is pushing the trend?
It's part of it, not in total. It's part of it. The eyes, what the eye is saying, it makes one to react.
But in that reaction, should we not talk about discipline from these men that ought to teach these children?
See.
Change your dressing.
Take it from what you said. Take it from what you guys have said. Yes, of course, we expect the elder person, the person who is older, to exercise discipline, restraint and discipline. Okay, if you're saying that indecent dressing, wait. If you're saying indecent dressing, wait now. Yes. If you're saying indecent dressing, there are people, mentally unstable, naked people on the roads. Why have these men see them every day? Why have they not gone there?
That is not the case.
Does their discipline draw a line? Is there a part where their discipline draws a line? I say, okay, for these people, no. But for these girls that are weak, that are just here trying to struggle, that are trying to go to school, these ones are weaker, these ones are weak. But no, the naked people on the road, their discipline draws a line there and says no. Because yes, they are going to, of course, there's always going to be indecently dressed people in schools. We know they are children. Let's call it what it is. They are children.
But it's not condoned.
It's not condoned. It is not condoned. But will you now say because you saw a girl that was indecently dressed, okay, and so therefore.
It's now a yardstick.
It's a yardstick, so just okay, let's go into it.
Mind you, you mentioned the street. We're not talking about the street here.
Yeah,
we're talking about
our
higher
institutions. Yes.
These people are in a confined.
Okay.
You understand? In a confined environment. The higher institution first is a citadel of excellence to bring up morally upright future leaders, in quotes.
Yes.
Now, because of interactions between lecturers and students, they are always coming together. You see, a man is in his office and a woman dressed provocatively to his office. There's a reaction, there's an attraction. You understand? It can be negative or positive. Some lecturers will ask you out of their office when you dress provocatively.
Yes.
Some will be attracted. So that's where the connection comes in now. Because on the street you are driving, you see somebody dressing provocatively, you easily pass by. But there's no easy connect or interaction.
As a lecturer in that situation,
yes,
where a student dresses provocatively to your office and you realize that there is an attraction, does your job, the rules governing your job not tell you that, okay, the next thing to do is to send that student out? Are there no rules governing that?
That's why I said the institutions first must set out rules as regards dressing modes.
So all
we have some private universities.
The universities that are lacking in all of this. The rules need to be set to provide for decent dressing. Because what I'm saying that recently they have been moved by most tertiary institutions. And funny enough, it all started last year. And more government-run institutions are now queuing into it to deal with the issue of not just indecent dressing, but some even items that you should not dress with. Like they're talking about chains on the legs and all of that, and many other haircuts and some that seems to be really not the best way to go. So do you feel these will be a part measure, but not the main measure in dealing with this trend?
It's a part measure.
Okay.
One, you should take it that every child comes from a home.
Of course it does.
So the modeling of our children must start from the home.
Of course.
It's not, let's not really say we're beginning to blame lecturers or the institutions. The home is a foundation where the children came out from. Now, as a parent, I'm a parent, I would not want my girl child to dress indecently, even in the house. So this modeling starts from our homes.
Yes.
Then let's come to the institutions. Institutions must have set out rules. Or do we say the government, which runs or oversees the institution, will teach out these rules that students, male or female. Because when we're talking about the male child, they also dress indecently.
Of course,
they dress provocatively too.
Yes.
They sag their trousers, they open
They're
their...
actually exploited as well.
They are also exploited.
Yes.
Yes, they might be financial or whatever. But the issue in question is that the institution must set out rules. I recall I was reading something somewhere that River State University or whatever, there are rules as regard dressing stated on their board outside the gate of the university. You can't wear this into our school or into our faculties. Don't talk of lecture halls or even going to an office of a lecturer.
So it should start there.
It should start there.
Then, okay, I'll plead with you to hold on, please, because of time, and we need to go on a break. But when we come back, we'll continue our discussion as we try to make sense and see what direction should be taken. This seems to be an age-long tradition or a negative trend that have existed in our tertiary institutions for quite a while, and many will take it way back to the late 80s and early 90s. But it's becoming now more of a problem with that very recent protest in the University of Calabar when the students felt it was just too much for them to bear, and hence they had to protest. But anyway, no protest about it, but we'll plead hold on a bit. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion as we will make it more interactive. When you're quite sure, we'll open up the lines, all on the beat for us to reason around it and find a solution. Let's go on a break.